Cheating in video games. Oh man. You want to know my stance on that? Fine, I'll tell you. Fuck cheating all across the board. I can't stand it. I feel like it completely removes the motivation for me to continue playing a game, and it's just not fair. Like, I feel like I hate to use the word honorable because, that sounds a little bit deep for, video games. We're talking about video games here. We're not talking about, like, a knight's oath or something like that. This is just, but it's like dishonorable. Like, you didn't win through like genuine, like, hard work and practice. You won because of an aid of something. But even though I have a strong stance on cheating, right, in video games at least, of course, cheating in video games draws parallels to the real world, right, to real life in general, because cheating is cheating regardless of what application is being used on. That's just the way it is. Now, it gets a little trickier, right? Because if everyone's cheating in your profession or your hobby, and then you also cheat, then is the field even, right? Is everything even kill if your opponents are cheating and then you're cheating, and it's like, okay, who's the best cheater at this point? Like, it's a little weird because it's hard to paint broad strokes when it comes to cheating, because they, as much as I hate to admit it, the truth is cheating does have its applications, right? And I'm gonna try my best to stick to cheating in the application of video games, although that's gonna be hard, and I'm probably gonna break my own rule like 2 minutes into this video. But doing a little bit of research before I started recording this, cheating has been, and I'm not surprised to hear this or read this in this particular instance. Cheating has been a part of video games since video games inception, right? Since like possibly the very first video game, because developers would have, like, these debug menus or whatever to test the games out or whatever. So that would be considered cheating if it fell into the hands of someone who's not a dev, and they can somehow get access to this menu where you can get infinite lives or run faster, or infinite continues, or whatever the case may be. And even in some cases, some codes, some cheat codes have become part of video game vernacular and lexicon, and also just culture, like the Konami code, right? I think it was 50 lives in Contra. I think that was its original application. Since then, it has received different types of applications for different types of video games. That same code does different things for different video games, but I think originally it was for Contra to get 50 lives, maybe 100 lives, whatever. I don't remember too well. But point is, it's crazy how a cheat code becomes like almost glamorized. Like, it, God knows how much merch has sold with T-shirts that say the Konami code, or it has the Konami code actually written out step by step on the T-shirt. I've seen many of those, like in video game cons and online. I already told you I don't like them personally. I like to play games as vanilla as possible, right? Meaning that, like, I like to play games the way the developer intended it to be played, right? I don't mind tweaking things a little bit. I'm not opposed to that. I don't mind tweaking. Like right now, I'm playing Starfield pretty much vanilla settings, except like I put it on hard, right? Because I wanted a little bit of a challenge, and so far it's been all right. I'm actually gonna get back into playing. I've been playing a lot of 7 Days to Die lately, like way too much 7 Days to Die, and honestly, that's what inspired me to talk about this video, right? Because I'm playing with three other people. Two out of the three are easygoing. They don't really care what settings we put on our server. Because I rented a server, a private server from a G Portal. I've been using them for a while, whatever. I think overall they offer good shit. I rarely ever have problems with their servers or whatever. Although you gotta be very attentive when you're purchasing a server, because you might fuck around and pay for way more slots than you're supposed to, and next thing you know, you're paying a much higher monthly rental rate than you should be. So you got to be very attentive, and that's them being business minded. They're just trying to eke out as much money from you as they can. I know that sounds horrible, but that's business 101. And they're not exclusive to that. They're not unique in that matter. Whatever. Point is, G Portal is a shit. I have no problems with it. You ever looking to rent a? This isn't even sponsored. I sound like I'm fucking. Sound like I'm fucking pitching G Portal now. Whatever. Point is, lately I've been playing with three other people. Two of them are very easygoing. They don't care what settings I have on my server. The third one, however, me and him bump heads all the time because he is the type of person who likes to fiddle around with his server settings all the time. And for the most part, it's to favor him, aka he's a cheater. He's admittedly self-proclaimed he's a cheater many times, but he doesn't even need to self-proclaim he's a cheater. We all fucking know. He's always online looking at walkthroughs, guides, console commands, exploits. Like he's always finding ways to just game the system, and it drives me nuts because like I said earlier at the opening of this video, it demotivates me. Like I literally don't want to continue playing the game because he's making it everything so easy. And just recently, this has been going on for a while. For the most part, I always beg him because I give him the benefit of the doubt, right? God knows what he's done to my server so far. I know that we've played before different games. We played Grounded before we played this. Actually, we were playing Core Keeper, if I'm not mistaken, but we played Grounded for a bit. And I know he did something to my settings, to my server settings. I know he did, but I didn't say anything. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let this one slide. And he may be doing something to the G Portal server that I'm currently renting. He might be doing something. But then again, I don't know for sure. Maybe I don't know if it's possible for him to actually alter my server settings if he's not the admin or anything like that. I don't know if that's still possible. Maybe it is with a little bit of research, which to him I can't give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been cheating for so many years. Like he knows console commands by heart. He's way more computer savvy than I am when it comes to actually getting into the meat of the games and stuff like that. Like altering files and for aesthetic purposes or whatever the reason may be. He's very good, and I stand no chance. All I have is begging. That's my only weapon against him. Like it's like, please, please don't cheat. Please don't cheat. And for the most part, it's lighthearted, but it did get kind of heavy a few days ago when he sent me a list of demands. I created a new server for 7 Days to Die, and he sent me like a list of demands saying that like if I'm gonna invest more time on this server, these are the demands that I need to be met. He didn't write it in those same exact words, but that's pretty much what he meant, right? He gave me like three major points. He wrote a lot, actually. It started to get serious. Like I was reading this, I was like, this shit feels like a business meeting or something like that. And I'm like, I'm just trying to play a game. Like none of this would be happening if he just played in vanilla settings. I put the difficulty to a little difficult because we originally played 7 Days to Die all the way to my character hit like level 40 something, I believe, which is quite a while, right? I was mostly maxed out in my build. I was doing like a rifle build, like a perception build. And we all decided like, hey man, we had this randomized map. We didn't really know what we were doing. And then we were like, we want to play Navigaine. We actually want to play the default Navigaine map. And so I said, all right, I'm going to start a new server. And this is where we're at today at this moment from this story that I'm telling you. Now I switched to perception build and I'm doing a agility build. I think it's like knives and handguns, which I'm enjoying tremendously. I'm doing great with that build. No problems whatsoever. Except that I do miss the range on my rifle. I love picking zombies off from a distance. That was always fun. But anyways, um, so in this setting, in the original playthrough, the my perception build, that was my original playthrough. We had the nomad difficulty, which was default. It was the normal difficulty, and we were once we got good weapons, we were just breezing through zombies. So with this new server setting, I was like, you know what? Let me up the ante a little bit and dial up the difficulty and put it on warrior, which is the difficulty setting after nomad, right? I was like, look, we're gonna do good. He doesn't like his games to be hard. Once again, he doesn't like to be pushed. He doesn't like to be challenged. He likes to play everything on easy, borderline like build mode on games. And I'm like, look, I feel like build mode and tweaking all the settings, especially in this particular game, 7 Days to Die. Like all his zombies are walking, none of them run. The blood moon only instead of 7 days, it happens once every month. These are all the demands that he wanted met. By the way, on his text message, he said he wanted the blood moon to be once a month till we get our bearings, and then we can bring it to 7 days. And I was like, that's still cheating. Like it's in my eyes it's still cheating because it's like, oh, we got the upper hand now, so now we can switch it back to the original default. So once again, I'm not one of those people that, but I'm a vanilla guy through and through. I admit that. That comes with its pros and that comes with its cons, but I'm a vanilla guy through and through. I love playing games the way developers intended it. If they intended this game to be difficult, then I shall play this difficult game. I'm trying to see their vision. I know that sounds snobby, maybe sounds a little self-righteous, but that's not how I mean it. I just want to play games the way they were intended to be played because I feel like that's how you derive the most fun from games when you play them the way that they're intended to be. If you fiddle around with the settings, you could make the game really hard or really easy. Either way, you ruin your experience. And that's all I'm about. I'm all about the experience at the end of the day. Like I don't mind physically owning the game or even digitally owning the game. Like that's why services like Xbox Game Pass or Microsoft Game Pass, whatever, those are perfect for me because I don't need to own the game. I'm not one of those people. However, I can see how other people would like to own the game. They bought something, they want to physically hold it in their hand and all that. And I'm like, I get it. I understand. But I'm not one of those people. As long as I experienced the game, I finished the game, I had a lot of fun with the game, then I'm cool with that. I can just go on with life going like I don't need to own it. I'm aware that I'm not I feel like I'm in the minority belonging to that camp. I feel like most people want to own their game. Then again, this is just a feeling. I haven't done any actual research on this. Maybe I may be wrong. Maybe more people are going like, I'm okay with just experiencing it, not actually owning it. I don't know. But he basically, this text message that he sent me, to go back to what I was originally talking about, he sent me this text message with these list of demands, and they were all basically the same settings he has on his personal server. Because mind you, he was playing already a personal game. God knows what kind of mayhem was going on in his server, right? So he already has a character on his personal server, right? Then he played on our server. So now he has two characters, and now he's playing on another server that we made. So he's got three different characters in three different worlds and three different settings. If I agreed to his terms, if I agreed to him to every one of his demands, it would be basically my new server would be like his personal server, which is like three of the things that I did not like. One was instead of every 7 days, the blood moon would be once a month. That's got to be boring. All the zombies are crawling and walking. None of them run. None of them sprint. None of them even jog. I'm like, no, there's no challenge in that, Like, and what was the third one? Increase the XP range, so he doesn't have to physically be with us when we're out looting, and because he's a crafter, so he likes to stay stationary in one spot and just craft all day long, while me and the group like to explore and you know open up the map. So he wants to gain some of that experience while he's crafting. So his basically this is exactly what he wrote. He wrote like, oh, what basically what he was trying to say was, without the crafter, the hunter can't survive. I'll be the hunter, right? I like going out there and coming home with meat and exploring, and he's like, without the crafter, the hunter can't survive. That's basically what he was trying to put out there, and I was like, that's actually not true. To be perfectly honest with you, a hunter can just hole up in an abandoned building, and that'll be his shelter for the night or whatever. And I'm speaking about 7 days to die. Not maybe you can draw parallels to real life with this, but what I mean is like in 7 days to die, like you don't necessarily need to build a base in order for you to level up and progress in this game. You can literally live like a nomad. In fact, there's a difficulty setting called nomad. You know what I mean? Like you can literally just roam from town to town and just level up that way, and just bring a campfire with you, and you know extra clothes and stuff like that. Like for the different biomes and stuff, and or have a small little shelter of some sort that where you can actually leave all of your stuff if you run out of room in your personal inventory. So like you don't even need to build a full house or a tiny cabin or even a shed. You can literally just make a little wall or a little cube of wood, and inside put some chests, and you're ready to go. Drop down your bedroll, you're straight. But even someone like me who's not heavy into crafting, I wouldn't even do that. I would make a little proper house. It'd be like a small cabin because I'm not going to be there most of the time. Most of the time, I'm out there wilding out, doing crazy shit. Like yesterday, I went to the Higashi building. It was like Higashi Pharmaceutical building. Fucking gigantic, massive building that me and my three other friends This particular guy, the guy with the list of demands, he was knocked out because he pulled an all-nighter. But anyways, point is, I had a lot of fun doing that, and I remember playing, going through each floor in that Higachi building with my friends. I was like, this is why I wanted to play this game, because most of the time I'm running around killing shit because he wants to stay stationary and craft, and I don't want to leave him out of things. So I play his game. I go, okay, I guess I'll just, while he's there crafting, he's having the time of his life. I'm bored. I'm getting cabin fever. I'm just gonna run around the same locations that our base is located in and loot the same old houses and shoot the same old animals, and I'll do that for hours just to satisfy him, And I'm not trying to sound like a victim here, I'm the girls that I play with, the other two girls, like I said, they're super indifferent, which they're like, okay, that's fun to us, we'll do that. So it's like, I'm like, okay, well, as long as everyone's having fun, I'll sacrifice a little bit of my fun for everyone. Whatever. I guess I'm the hero, right? I'm joking. That's whatever. What I'm trying to say is, I've been super lenient with this guy, and I'm aware of this. And that day, it kind of came to a head because we got on the microphone, or we got on chat that same night after he sent me those lists of demands, because I didn't want to write back what I really felt, because that actually pissed me off. I'm not gonna lie, I was upset when he wrote that. I was thinking to myself, like, I'm not gonna write anything crazy right now on this text message because it's not gonna come out right. The tone's not there, the emotion is, he's gonna read it and it's gonna probably sound nasty. So I said, I'll talk to him tonight. And even then, that's hard to do, right? It's hard to, when you're upset at someone and you're talking to them, it's hard not to have what you really want to say unfiltered come out of your mouth. You have to kind of filter it in your mind because you might sound like a straight asshole or whatever. But I wish it wasn't that way. I know to some people that sounds kind of phony, and they're like, "Fuck that, I ain't filtering shit." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you're gonna have a lot of trouble in life if you run around every day." And I learned this the hard way because I was way more openly honest when I was younger, rudely so, obnoxiously so. And I didn't realize it till I got older. And I'm looking back and I'm like, God damn, I'm reading some of my Facebook statuses and I'm just like, man, like, why did I write that? Who let me write this? Like, Jesus is cringy. Or, man, I sound like an asshole, or I sound whiny or argumentative. And I wasn't afraid because I had a lot of ego, young, dumb, and full of cum, as they say. But now that, I'm older and slower and dumber, I'm like, you know, I'm more patient with people. I do more for them than I do more than argue and more than bitch. And don't get me wrong, I still do my fair share of bitching and arguing, but I also listen to them more. So, anyways, we're on chat. I'm speaking to him. I'm getting frustrated because I'm like, dude, like, if we, like, you're not understanding. If I agree to all your settings for this new server, I'm going to be bored out of my goddamn mind. And so are the girls. Even though they're super indifferent, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe they won't be bored, but I feel like it won't be long. It'll probably be after one playthrough in his server that I'm just like, dude, I can't do this. I'm gonna go find another game and possibly not add him to it. Possibly just play with the girls. And I don't want that because I enjoy playing with him. He's a funny guy, and not only that, I know he enjoys playing with us. And I guess you can call it passion, right? Because he's like, or maybe not. Maybe he's being an asshole. It depends on how you see it, right? I see it both ways. Like, he's very passionate about his video games, and that little list of demands that he wrote me, I wouldn't have done that personally, but he did it, and he cared enough to take time out of his day to write this paragraph to me about how he wants his server, and I'm like, all right, he's a real passionate guy. He's actually a cool dude. Yeah, he's a little crabby. Yeah, he's a little, you know, snippy. You know what I mean? But like, that's the small price to pay for him being a good dude. And like I said, I enjoy his company as well as my other friends. We all have fun. So I said, look, the best I can do is like, you know, I'll increase the XP range. I'll do that, sure. I told the girls, I said, you guys cool with this? They were like, yeah, we're cool with that. I said, as far as me putting the difficulty to easy and not warrior, I told them, I said, look, I tried out warrior with one girl. It was just me and a girl. And what I mean by a girl is that, like, she's not even she's more of a support craft character. That's the character she's always played in video games. She's not really combat oriented. But me and her tried out this server, and we put it on warrior difficulty, and we were fucking killing zombies with stone weapons. And I was like, oh, I have nothing to worry about. I thought warrior setting was going to be real difficult. Yeah, it's a little tougher. They take a little more damage from you, and they also receive more damage, so you have to hit them more times, whack them a few more times. before they die or re-die. Can a zombie die if it's dead already? Whatever. You kill this particular zombie or whatever. And I was like, I have nothing to worry about. If a non-combatant like this girl can hold her own, then a combatant like him would definitely be fine on this server. And that's when it hit me, right? It hit me like, oh wait a minute. This isn't like he's upset because of control. And now I'm getting into like psychology, right? Like he can't control this server the way that he would usually. So he's upset that he can't. So he kind of projected to me like, hey, I can't like he without saying it to me, the way I took it is basically he's like, hey, I can't control this server and it upsets me, so I'm gonna write these list of demands. That's the way I took it at least. And you know what's the craziest part? The dude is killing it on my server on warrior difficulty. So all this nagging, all this bitching, all this passive aggressiveness that he wrote on this uh, text message, right? It was for nothing. It was for nothing because he's doing great on my server. He's killing it. He's got better armor than I do. He's already in military armor. We're both doing light armor. He's already in the last tier of light armor, and the motherfucker doesn't even do nothing but craft most of the time. He has better armor than me, and I'm out there shooting stuff most of the time. Although I will say he has been shooting stuff lately. But that goes to show you he's thriving on my server with no cheats. To my knowledge, at least. Maybe that motherfucker is cheating. He's just being super sneaky about it. I know for a fact he's still using walkthroughs and exploits. I know that. That's for sure. I can't stop him from doing that. And neither would I want to. I'm a big believer in free speech and do what you want to do as long as no one's getting hurt in any shape, way, or form. That's my motto. Do if no one is getting hurt in any shape, way, or form, do that shit. That's my life motto right there. So go ahead. You want to cheat on your own time, knock yourself out. But please, all I'm begging you, all I'm asking is just like respect the fact that I don't like cheating or mods or anything of that nature on my server. That's it. Let's just play a vanilla game through after playthrough. After, if you want to go and play on your server and rock out and, be on creative mode and pull out fucking final tier items from the sky, knock yourself out. And this goes back to like what I was saying in the beginning about video games and cheating, right? Video games has been synonymous with cheating since video games inception, and I find myself, I wouldn't say struggling with the ideas of cheats because I believe that like the best time to use a cheat, if there was ever a time to use a cheat, would be like after you experience the game. This is your second playthrough, third playthrough, and you're like, you know what? I want to use some mods. I want to use some cheats, to spice the game up. I've known friends that have bought games for $50, $65 and played them for about an hour and was like, I'm bored. And they went online and started looking for cheats or exploits. And I'm like, don't you feel like you've wasted your money doing that? You know what I mean? Like I feel like imagine you pay a movie ticket, right? Movie tickets are expensive now. You pay, or at least where I live at in the PA section of the world of the United States. Tickets for theaters are like $20, man. I remember they used to be $10. I'm whatever. I'm not even gonna get into the economy right now. But point is, shit does go up. I understand. I'm very well aware of that. Nothing can stay the same price forever. Uh, But I will say that, tickets are pretty expensive, $20. Like imagine you pay $20 for a ticket, you sit down and then 5 minutes into your movie, a stranger just turns around and goes like, you see that guy on the screen right there? Yeah, he's the killer. And you're gonna be like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what is your problem? I pay good money to like experience this movie. And so that's spoilers, right? People hate spoilers. I hate spoilers, and playing with him is like that. We'll play. I didn't even mention that, right? Like I would say that like even when me and him play games along with my other friends, he's already looking stuff up. He doesn't like to figure anything out on his own. It's always like I gotta look this up. I gotta look this up. I gotta figure out how this works. And I'm like, bro, just try. Just try for a little bit. You know what I mean? Before your first reaction is to go online and ask for help. It's like, bro, just try it. Try it for a bit, fail a little bit, look dumb for a little bit, and then if you can't get it, maybe go online and check it out. But man, look, you do you. I don't support that. I feel like you should play the game to its entire. First of all, you should do whatever the fuck you want. Let me explain that thoroughly and let me make myself clear. You should do whatever you want. I'm not telling anybody not to use cheats or to use cheats. I'm just telling you that I don't like them. That's all I'm saying. But at least give yourself, you know, give yourself some credit. You're probably much better than you think you are. Like in his case, like I said, he's thriving, man. He's got great armor, great gear. He's rarely dying. He's breezing through zombies on warrior difficult. Like he didn't give himself a chance, and now that he's killing it and he's doing great, he's realizing, or at least I'm assuming, he's realizing like, oh wow, I can actually be good if I give myself the opportunity. Like cut yourself a break. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember asking him one time. I said, "Hey, man, like, have you ever ruined it for yourself cheating in a game? Like, you ever bought a game, used some cheats, some exploits, got the console commands, whatever the case may be, and then you weren't, oh man, now this game's easy and I'm bored." He's like, "Yes, I have done before." So I'm like, "Okay, so you're one of those people that can't help themselves from cheating, right? Kind of like if you're on a diet and like your girlfriend brings zebra cakes and she puts them on top of the refrigerator and you're like, oh man, I know those zebra cakes are in my house now, so you're always going to be thinking about them like, oh, how the fuck am I supposed to avoid this temptation if these zebra cakes are on top of my refrigerator? They're not at the store where I can avoid going to the store, but I can't avoid going to the kitchen and seeing those delicious zebra cakes on top of my refrigerator. Like that's hard, man. That's like double triple the temptation. So maybe it's that. Maybe all he has to do, I think, is just press F1 on his goddamn keyboard when he's playing the 7 Days to Die. And I think he can start inputting console commands, which, by the way, he knows many by heart. I don't know. Cheating, man. I mean, I will say this, though, right? As much as I don't like cheating, it has its place in gaming. Like I said, I hate to admit that, but it's true. Cheating has its place in gaming. And, you know, I like the fact that developers do give you, at least in PC. I can't speak so much for console because it's been a while since I played consoles. Now that I'm a PC snob, but I love the fact that developers give you the option to tweak your settings up, even if that's not the way they intended for you to play the game. The option is still there, and there are instances where you need to quote unquote cheat, right? If you have an elderly person who wants to play a game, you don't want to give him a video game on nightmare mode. You understand what I'm saying? Like you don't want him to play like, on hard difficulty. You want to, ease him in there or you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, whoever that you are trying to introduce into gaming and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna start you off at easy. Let me know till you get your bearings. Maybe I can ramp up the difficulty. I can see instances where quote unquote cheating or even just fiddling around with the settings to make it easier for you, which is, soft core cheating. I can see where there are instances where that can be useful. And you know, as much as like I told you before, I'm not into cheating, like it does have its uses. It does have its applications. And even though I'm like 80% against it, 20% of me goes, "Okay, I can see why you would use that." And I'm glad that the option is there for you to use that. But I guess in my friend's case, this whole video has just turned into therapy. I just realized that I started off with the history of cheating in video games and it just turned into me and a friend having problems over a server on 7 Days to Die. Sorry about that. But also, sorry, I only did like two little videos this month. I usually try to aim for three or four, man. But I hate to come up with excuses, but holidays and shit. You know how that goes. Whatevs, man. What I am saying is, sorry if this turned into some long drama between me and a friend. Like we're good. We're on good terms. We're not arguing or anything. We might play tonight. I wouldn't doubt it. But point is, it's just something that, and I probably already made a video about cheating, or at least hinted towards it, or spoke about it for a few minutes on a different video. If I did, sorry about that. I think I'm up to like 30 something of these videos, and I wouldn't be surprised if I spoke about the same video game twice or something like that. Should probably a little be. I should probably be a little more vigilant on those matters, right? Excuse me. Um, I wonder. I would like to see if there was a poll or some sort of a survey or some sort of statistics that are reliable on, especially today in 2023, right? Because I would assume cheating was more harder to do back in the day because you didn't have a flow of information as well as the technology easily readily available in your pocket like you do now in 2023, like 1993 compared to 2023, right? It's different eras, different times, different mindsets, different politics, different economy, everything. So I would, if I had to guess, right? I would say that more and more people are cheating now than they did back then, and that is solely because of the ease of use of technology. Like anyone can use, like kids. A kid who's single digits, 9 years old, 8 years old, can use an iPad with proficiency, with good proficiency. They may not be experts at it, but they know how to, and that's crazy, right? How easy they've made the user interface that anybody from any age, from someone who's 9 years old to someone who's 89, they can just flip out a phone and boom, they know what they're doing. Everything is almost instantly recognizable and accessible and easy to navigate. And I know that, big organizations like Apple and Google, they have people that they hire who specialize in making easy user interfaces. So yeah, I mean, they're doing their job fantastically, for better and for worse. But I would say more people are cheating now more than ever, and it makes me sad because I feel like an old dinosaur that's still clinging on to his virtuous, virtues. My virtuous virtues. Just use the same word to describe. I feel like a dinosaur sometimes, man. I really do. At least mentally, sometimes physically, but I would say mostly mentally. I go, man, I don't feel like I don't know. I can't relate to a lot of things that go on, especially online, and you know the cheating culture and lots of things, man. I can go on forever and ever, but to end this off on a positive note, I am not 100% against cheating. I would say 80% against cheating. But like I said, I do see its applications and I even see its fun. Like if I've already finished Fallout 3, for example, that's just the first game that pops in my mind. It's also one of the best games I ever played in my life. And I've brought this up many times. If I already finished Fallout 3, I don't mind using mods. I've used mods for Skyrim and I had a fucking blast, bro. But I was also because I was really high and I was smoking a lot of weed and then just playing Skyrim and adding all these crazy mods, like user mods, and they were so much fun. I was playing survival mode before it became an actual feature in I think the legendary edition of Skyrim. I think that's the latest edition of Skyrim. I was playing survival mode, probably by the same creator actually. And I was like, this shit is hard as fuck, but it was fun. It added this whole new dimension to Skyrim that I was like, wow, I really like this. You got to eat, you got to stay warm. It's really cool, and maybe one day I'll go back. I'm always going back to play Skyrim. Skyrim is immortal. It's just the way it is. So, cheaters keep on cheating. I mean, it's not like I can stop you anyway. And then, I guess people like me who aren't cheaters keep being suckers. Till next time, see you guys.